Hello! Thank you very much for being part of this. My name is Timothy Miller, and let's get right into it. Today, just a little bit what's going on. Yesterday, I tried to stream on Mixer for about 2.5 hours, and I think it was a user error on my end, my part, but the stream didn't load. Or not load, it didn't record. So it streamed, but it wasn't saved. So now I tried both Mixer. I talked with Mixer technical analysis, technical support. They got back with me. I still need to hear back from them. And I tried Twitch, but the audio wasn't working. So I'm just going to go ahead and record in this format. It was a lot better with the live streaming. But I'm going to record like this, and then I'm going to move on to eventually that I don't know what was going on. I don't know what's going on on the technical side, and that might be something that I want to figure out, but I prefer to do it off screen rather than recording that. So one of the things that I want to learn how to do today is actually how to use GitHub specifically. So if I'm going to use github.com. Whoa, that's weird. Okay, I'll move it over here in a minute. Extension. Oh. Okay. So, not sign up. I need to sign Maybe? Fantastic. Never is my answer. Okay, so how to make repositories within GitHub. Going to YouTube. The coding train. How to use GitHub. I want to learn how to use GitHub. For poets. Okay.
Hello and welcome to Git and GitHub for Poets. This is
a summary of what's going on. It's not a summary, it's a bullet point. I think one of the reasons why I was having such difficulty in trying to understand what a repository is that when it comes to programming, goodness, this is loud. Okay. Yeah. One of the big issues that I had when trying to figure out how to use GitHub. Not one of the big issues in trying to understand it. Legitimately, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I want to understand it, so how can I best understand what GitHub is? I've been told multiple times what it is. I just don't get it. I want to know what it means. So, what is it?
Hello and welcome to Git and GitHub for Poets. This is a tutorial series that I am beginning today, and the whole point of this tutorial series is to explain what is Git, what is GitHub, how do you use them, and let me say something really important from the outright. You don't need to know anything about programming or code whatsoever to follow this tutorial. Git and GitHub are tools generally used by software developers, creative coders, and eventually, as I get through more and more videos about Git and GitHub, we'll start getting and looking at code repositories. But right now, it doesn't matter. What I want to do is put a poem on GitHub. And I want to see what happens when you take a poem on GitHub, and why is that powerful, and why would that be something exciting to learn about. And I hope that people will watch this who want to use Git and GitHub for creative ways that might not even necessarily, for collaboration and creativity that might not necessarily have anything to do with programming. So we're going to start from total scratch. So first of all, why do these things exist? So I'm going to come over here to my computer screen, and I've been working very hard on a poem about rainbows. It's a terrible poem. I don't know if I can show you. I don't even want to show it to you, but has this ever happened to you? Did you write a poem and then you made some revisions and saved another file _1, and then you saved another file _2, and then you called it final, but then you wanted to revise it again, so you called final revise, but then you wrote really the final? You see the point? Often what happens is you're working on something, a piece of a poem, an essay, an image, a design, a piece of code, and you have versions of those over time, and you want to save a previous one. The history of what you're making is important. This is primarily...
Okay, so if I understand correctly, again, vocalizing what it is that I'm thinking, rather than just holding it within, is that GitHub, specifically, if you have a file, if you have data, a file or data that has evolved over time, then using GitHub is a place where you can upload these files or sets of data that have evolved over time. Assuming.
The first thing about what Git is, that is why Git exists, for something called version control.
Version control.
So rather than you, the creator, having to keep track of separate files and a history yourself manually, Git is a piece of software that does that for you. It keeps track of the entire history of things that you're working on the computer. But it's not just for you. So this is very powerful on its own, but there's something more to what Git has and a lot of features that Git has. And what I would say the other thing that's really key here, I don't know why I'm putting quotes here, but collaboration. You know, to be honest, you can do a lot of what we're talking about with things like Dropbox or Google Docs or all sorts of other tools that allow you to keep track of the history of a file or even have multiple people work on the same file. But Git is a particularly special tool which has a lot of advanced and sophisticated features for collaboration. In particular, it doesn't have a problem with two people working on the same document at the same time, and there's lots of ways of managing that, which I'll get into as I get further and further along. But this is what I want you to think about. This is a system that you can use to keep track of the history of a project, as well as allow many people to collaborate on the project together. Okay, so that's the first point I want to make, which hopefully is good. Now let's move on here for a second, and I need to make a really important distinction. What is Git and what is GitHub? Okay, let's write Git over here, and let's write GitHub over here. This tutorial is going to live somewhere in the middle. Eventually,
this is one of those moments where, okay, maybe I'm needing much more, maybe I need it to go quicker. Again, 2x speed rather than 1. And I'm assuming Git, if I understood correctly from other videos, other topics, Git is a place where you can upload your code. GitHub is a place at which other people have access to it and can put repositories or changes to the code that you drop into it.
I'm going to kind of start with just only showing you GitHub, and eventually later, I'm going to only show you how to do stuff only with Git. But right now, I want to live in this strange place that's in the center. Why? Git is the actual version control software.
What is version control?
Actual application. It was invented by that guy who invented Linux. His name and a link to it will be somewhere in the description. It has another story about why it has a name. You can look it up on why it's called Git. You can look that up on Wikipedia. But Git is just version control software. There are countless examples historically of other version control software.
So how about this? Again, probably getting a lot of flack just for not understanding how Git and GitHub works. And again, something that boggles my mind is when someone makes fun of somebody else not being able to understand something. You don't understand it? That is so highbrow, echelon society, elitist bullshit. It really is. If somebody doesn't understand it, they don't understand it. How can they understand it? That would be the question that needs to be asked. And if they're not getting it, what would be a way to describe it to them? Just like, oh, come on, this is the truth. Why didn't you just know? Oh my gosh. that gets under my skin, and I'm probably the one that's judging me more than anyone else. So, so how about this? Regardless of whether I learn Git or GitHub, it's a starting point. Something I even pointed out for me to learn today was coding train. Explore GitHub code. I think creating a starting point, that was the starting point. Whether or not I end there, that's debatable. That's questionable. The end point is learn how to create my own automated trading program, and I think it might be important to go down what vision control software is. So, vision control software. Just taking one, I'm going to go down a branch, I'm going to explore it as much as possible, and then I'm going to move on to the next thing. Whether or not I understand anything, finding something that I am interested in, and then diving deep into it. Control software. Abdommed vision control. That's vision control software. Git. Okay. Vision control software comparison. Version. Oh, he said version. I thought it was vision. Okay. Version control software. That's probably what I was getting so caught up on. Version control software. Gotcha. So let's say define. That's something I needed to have known. I was getting so worked up over vision. Is that what he was talking about? What the heck is that? Like, my mistake. Wow, that takes a lot of freaking effort just to do that. Okay. So, regardless of how he describes it, what is .techtarget.com? Version control. Version control, also known as revision control or source control, is a category of processes and tools designed to keep track of multiple different versions of software, content, documents, websites, and other information in development. Any system that provides change tracking and control over programming source code and documentation can be considered version control. Big difference there. So I'm going to say version control. What is a version control? Tools and software for keeping track of multiple versions of documentation. Boom. So, yeah. So we'll go with notes. We'll go with desktop. Notes. $27? Yeah, it's $27 today. Okay. Okay. Any system that provides change tracking and control over programming source code and documentation can be considered version control software. The practice has been a part of creative processes almost as long as writing has existed. Interesting. The purpose of version control, not vision, version control, is ensuring that content changes under development go as planned. While version control is often carried out by a separate application, it can also be embedded into programs such as IDEs or integrated developed environments, word processors, spreadsheets, Excel, I'm assuming, which is a spreadsheet, especially collaborative web documents and pages, I'm assuming much like Google does with their documents, like it's their own Word, their own Excel sheet that people have access to immediately. So a type of it, but I don't think there is it's more collaborative. I don't think they have actually version control. That's a good question. Version control allows servers in multiple locations to run different versions on different sites. even while those versions are being updated simultaneously. The most powerful and complex version control systems are used in software development. Version control often operates by locking files and using a checkout check-in system for changed versions. Versions may be identified by labels or tags. Approved versions, or those that are especially significant, may be designated baselines. Checked out versions may be worked on by different groups or individuals as branching code from the main trunk. What does that mean? A trunk, in the context of software development, is the base code from which a branch is taken to be worked on. A trunk line, the main line, I'm assuming. So other terms of trunk in the context including baseline, main line, and master. A branch is essentially a copy of the original, a branch from the trunk line, or I'm assuming the root. But a branch taken from the trunk, which, yeah, that works. So it can be developed while the original code remains stable. The branch is developed and its changes may be merged back into the trunk, depending on the purpose. In trunk-based development, TBD, all developers commit to a single shared branch for version control. That branch is then known as the trunk, and subsequent branches are taken for releases. In telecommunications, a trunk is a line or link designated to carry multiple signals simultaneously to provide network access between 2 points. Fantastic. When versions are checked out and checked in, the first to check in is sure to succeed. If other versions are checked out, some systems may provide for version merging to allow further changes to be added into the central repository. So my question would be, a question, again, I'm glad I'm speaking it out loud, is that if version control, come on, I had the question, if version control has other people have access to the main trunk line, to the trunk document or the main document, and someone updates the main document or makes a system or makes an edit main document, 2 people are accessing the main document, 1 person saves their changes. Does this person have access to what they did, or is what this person did updates the main one, maybe creating a new repository or a new one while the main is pushed up from the original one? We now have a copy with the edit, and this person now has access and cannot change the main one, but change the copy, a new repository, a new change to the original document, along with this other person. That's a question. I'm glad I said that out loud. That didn't make any sense to me, but I'm glad that I said that out loud. Okay. If other versions are checked out, when versions are checked out and checked in, the first to check in is sure to succeed. If other versions are checked out, some systems may provide for version merging to allow further changes to be added into the central repository. Another method used in version control is branching, in which programs in development are copied for development in parallel versions, retaining the original and working on the branch or making different changes to each. See, now I'm just reading. I didn't understand any of that. Okay, so another method used in version control is branching. Gotcha. Okay, just taking it one line at a time. Branching, in which programs in development are copied for development in parallel versions. So parallel versions, I'm assuming that it is the exact same document that you get to work on while the original remains untouched. Retaining the original and working on the branch or making different changes to each. I'm assuming that is correct. Each copy is considered a branch. The original program from which the branch is taken is referred to as the trunk, the baseline, the main line, or the master. Version control is generally based on a client-server model. Another method is distributed version control, in which all copies are in a code-based repository and changes are synchronized through patches or changes shared from peer to peer. So so when one peer makes a change, I'm assuming like blockchain, sort of. When one person makes a change, the other person's document that they are working on, the copy of the copy or of the trunk or a branch of the original document, peer to peer, each of their access to that branch is changed because of the other person's connection to the other, because of peer to peer. I'm just assuming that's how it is. The terms version control and versioning are sometimes used interchangeably, through their technical meanings are different. Okay, the last part I did not get. I did not understand. But let's just web service. GitHub being a web service. Gotcha. Now it's going to be very, it's like, I'd like to think that I do know what that is, but would I be able to articulate it? A web service is a website that you have access to, that you can use. GitHub being something. Git, I'm assuming, is a version control. If I have this correctly, Git is a version control software. As it was stated, now I understand it. GitHub is a website that other people have access to that can use the version control software altogether, rather than just those who are access to a specific server in a local capacity. Using GitHub, I believe, is an internet or international, I don't know if you want to do that, use it that way, but a remote accessed server, you can use the Git version, what is it called? Version control software. That is my assumption. So one question that I do have is that when, not even in this, just an idea in the back of my head. We got time. We got about two and a half hours or so. Is that when Daniel Schiffman, the creator of the coding train and processing, I believe he's the creator of processing. Snap? Test? Okay, I just wanted to make certain that the audio was working. I don't understand when a program has multiple sections, I always thought, it's probably just it pulling information. I'll explain what I mean. Pulling information from some other program or other code or document, that when a program calls a function, the function being in a different document, I don't understand how that works. Logically, it makes sense, but I don't understand it in the practical sense. Where if Rainbow Poem was going to use a function that was in Rainbow Poem number 2, it would call Rainbow Poem 2.text, and then whatever the line and word is for that. But there's some documentation that Daniel Schiffman has that doesn't need to have that he, I think, uploads all of them in one source file when he's working on other pieces of information. So I want to go back to Coding Train. Not branches. I want to go to let's just go with playlists. Let's see if we could just find coding challenge might actually work. Woo. Yeah, I'll go with coding challenge. And we'll just pick a random one, 48. Whatever 48 is. White House social media data visualization. Okay. We'll pick something else. Not an algorithm, because he's just going to be focusing on that. I want him to be building something specific. I think a mathematical.
Hello, welcome to another Coding Train.
Okay, we'll go with that. Looks a lot better. He's doing a lot of preparation, which is something that I want to learn. But right there on the left-hand side is the question that I have. It might be a little too fuzzy for anybody to see, but he has roses as the document, libraries is a subdocument, DS store, index.html, and sketch.js. I don't understand that. I need to understand it. I want to understand it. I don't get why there are different files. That's a really good question to have. So, what are those things on the left-hand side that he is pulling from? Sketch.js is a what? What is that word? That's what I'm looking for. How do I find that out? Again, every single one of you probably understand it out there. What is that? How do I figure that out? Someone who doesn't know this information, doesn't know who to contact to figure out very basic information like that. How do I figure it out? That's a great question. It's not how. I would better say it's not just how to figure that out. I guess a better question would be, what is the name of the left-hand side of Daniel Schiffman's files he has for video number 4055? What is the name of the left-hand side of Daniel Schiffman's files he has for video number 5? Because you have DS store, zoom this in. DS store, you have index.html, and you have sketch.js. Well, I think a really good question would be to actually download processing. Yeah, because I do have, what I have available is this. So, okay, what if I uploaded, what if I downloaded processing, or do I need to do PS5? P5.js, or do I need to do processing? Which one? Come on, Daniel Schiffman, tell me. Oh! Okay, let's see which one he uploads, or does he already have it loaded and just immediately gets into it? Actually, right there is, you can, more clear. Oh, what was that? I think that was processing. Really good question. Adam? Adam? Are you serious? Huh. Let me just check, make certain. I think it's Adam, a different program other than. Okay, let's go with Adam. Adam, Apple processing. I don't know. Adam.io. A hackable text editor. That's what it is. Oh my gosh. Text. Oh, I mean, I'm even using it. Freaking A. I'm using a text editor myself. That has so many functions, from Python. No, that's not it. That's the JSON, Java, diff, CSS, C++, C#, C, all these different things on the side. I did not realize that that's what he's actually using. I'm personally using brackets. He's using something called Adam.io. So, the answer is that Daniel Schiffman is using a text editor. Daniel Schiffman is using a text editor called Adam.io. Just as an example, This is what it is. It's actually kind of cool. Cute, actually. But this is really cool. Really is. Huh. Everything you would expect, multiple panes, smart auto completion, file system browser. It's probably a lot better than brackets. I use brackets simply because of its, I first started with Notepad, Notepad++. I found some other ones and eventually wound up with brackets. I may eventually use Atom. More importantly, I might as well download it. Okay, let's download it. About 2 seconds. Come on. Come on. Download for me, bruh. Download! Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, this is what I'm getting. Atom is being installed. It will launch once it is done. I gotta admit, that's actually a pretty cool design. Pretty neat. Pretty nifty? Yeah. Whoa, this is new. Okay, so you have version control with Git and GitHub. Open a project, register as something. I'll do all that private information and stuff later. But there's a lot of good information here. Again, he was using Atom, which again, you can use brackets. He's even using brackets on the left-hand side. It's just Atom, I think, is the version he has of Atom is the text editor that he is using. So it's good to have known that. Actually, let me go ahead and do it right now. Just making certain I don't have any private information. I'm gonna say yes, open a project. So I'm just gonna pick a project. We get documents. Personal information. Notes. Whoa, what's going on here? Yeah, go ahead and send it. Okay, file, new file. Open file. Let's go with that. I'll go to desktop. Okay. Notes. Again, a bunch of personal information, that's why it's hidden at the moment. So we'll just pick notes. Wow. Okay. I do like this. Just as personal information, but yeah, actually, I like this format a lot better, but at the moment, I don't really want, or do I? Do I not? Can actually get rid of the welcome part. Boom. Okay. So what's that white line? I don't get why that white line's there. Huh. So it's relatively the same as what I have on the left-hand side. That's how you would zoom in. Okay. Yeah. So for the moment, I'll just go with, I want to switch. Okay, so copy. Oh, save. Come over here. Open. I'm gonna go to notes. Yep. Yeah, this is something that I don't get with the other text document. So closing that out. So let's just go with Atom. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm gonna pin to start. Bring that over next to brackets. I'll probably even get rid of brackets. Multiple, change that word. Shift mins, that's a word. Hopefully I have How do you pronounce his name? That's a great question to ask. Daniel Schiffman. I think it's S-H-I-F, etc. His book, Schiffman. Okay. So let's make this a dictionary word. I think my brain just went. Okay. But here we go. Get rid of that welcome, this, and whatever those notes were. So now we have officially a new text editor, which is something that Daniel Schiffman has been using on the, again, that's what was on the left-hand side of his screen. So this can zoom out so I can have greater access to it. Oh, but I don't like that. It doesn't shrink. Well, that's kind of a good thing, actually. Kind of like that, but I kind of don't at the same time. So brackets really does serve its own purpose. So I'm going to bring up brackets. It's a phenomenal feature I enjoy. Whatever. Moving on. Wow, I can get over something really quickly if I just decide to do it. Who knew? Okay. So, with the text editors, I guess the main question I have been having, which is why I think I needed to know what this was, is how do you run a program with the text, with the code that he's been saving on different documentation? When he uses sketch.js, when he uses index.html, when he uses ds_score, I don't underscore store. How does that run a program? I've ran programs in Spider in Python. I've ran programs in individually ran in NinjaTrader. I've ran programs in Jupyter. I don't understand what he is doing specifically, and I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to understand it. So I need to be clear. I need to be clear about what the question specifically is asking. So, or is entailing in detail. So, how does Daniel use multiple text documents to run a program much like a GitHub repository? I keep thinking suppository, but GitHub, reposit has multiple documents. What is going on to make a program work? I want to know how he specifically is doing that. How to run a program. Okay, let's ask that one question. So let's go to how to run, just a question out there, how to run a program Okay. How to run a program from GitHub. Let's just go with that. Downloading the sample code from GitHub and running it. Oh, that's a great question. Okay. 5 minutes. Run your Python files on your computer. Creating .exe. How to import GitHub project into PyCharm. This video will learn how PyCharm how to clone GitHub project to local computer. So I'll go with the very first one, is downloading the sample code from GitHub and running it. So let's do this one together. Okay. So we go to GitHub. Partner center samples. Okay. commerceapi.net. Literally, is it .net? I don't know if they were being cheeky there. See, all this code, I don't get that. Why is there so much documentation there? Is a CS file, is that a C#? Or more importantly, any... Let's just go ahead and use it. Let's go ahead and follow along here. So we'll go to github.com/partner center samples commerce API.net. Yep, I have the exact same documentation here. Data models, documentation properties, app.config, skipping around, order.cs. What is the CS file? CS file has all this information on it. I don't get how to run this. I want to know how to run this. I want to know how to understand it. Oh, that's important, maybe. Okay. This is important. Okay, I need to take care of this later today. Okay, I need to take care of that. So, See, I can start reading it, and I somewhat understand what the code is trying to tell me, but I don't understand actually how to use it. I think it's something that I've had as experience trying to articulate what I'm thinking. I've had a lot of practice understanding what a code is trying to do intricately, or not intimately, intricately, articulately, whatever that word is. I just don't know actually how to use a code. When I put it in Python, I don't get that. I don't get how to use it. It's like I have a lot of book smarts, maybe not a lot of good social skills on how to actually communicate what it is that I know. But the more important thing is I need to learn actually how to use the things that I've been learning from reading and practicing behind the scenes. I need to learn how to do that. A lot of people already have access to that. Everybody, it's like, oh, you don't know how to do that? My gosh, what's wrong with you? I'm so hard on myself. Or I don't get that. I don't understand it. It's something. It's like two conduits that have electricity being attracted to it, and they will flow electricity outwards if they were to connect. But there's just no connection. It's not close enough for those two things to connect. Like, what is that missing piece that I'm... It's probably the easiest thing in the world. I've probably done it before, but I've never registered that it is the topic it is the point of which I'm talking about. Okay. So, as of right now, learning from what Git and GitHub are, there are 21 commits, one branch, which is interesting. The master updated 4 years ago by some person. Okay. We go back, whatever. Okay, gonna follow this guy. Clone in desktop. Okay. So I'm gonna hit clone or download. I'm going to open in desktop. Yeah, open, sure. Oh, yeah, I do have, gotcha. Okay. Again, that's something I need to take care of. Repository URL, GitHub username, blah 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 blah. Do I need to sign in for that? Oh, my mind is just, I am flipping my entire world upside down because of how easy what's going on. Oh my gosh, I've done everything the hard way up until this point. Really. Truly I have. So, wait, it said that I cloned it, but where's the information? Again, it said that I cloned it, so top left hand side is current repository commercial API.net. So double clicking, I guess, I don't know. Open in command prompt? No, okay, should not mess with that. Show and explore, open in Atom. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Atom. Whoa. Okay. That's weird. Okay, save. Git. Data models, documentation. Oh, this is overwhelming, but it is so important to know. I am so baffled of what's going on. Okay, utilities. Look at all this beauty. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. Oh, I haven't had this type of breakthrough in such a long time. Like, what have you been doing? I don't know. I thought I knew a lot of stuff. This is probably... Again, I have folders upon folders of information like this, but I've never had it so concisely put together. Who taught me? Well, you should have learned from who? How should they have taught me? Again, I'm criticizing myself a lot more than what other people probably have been criticizing me for, but I've been so self-conscious about this for such a long time of actually how to do this, that if I just make a video, regardless of whether or not I'm right or wrong, articulating my point of view in a verbal manner on what I'm thinking, how I'm thinking it, what the problem is, and to dictate, to make dictation, to articulate a problem correctly. And just by the simple nature of having you here, communicating as though you were here, talking to a camera as though I'm talking with another person, that has been helping me so much more than me trying to be doing it by myself, because I went 6 months while I was in the military specifically learning how to use C#. I was very good at understanding it, but I did not know how to write it. It's like I can... Somebody who could read a book, knows what the book is talking about, knows what the book means, knows what the understanding of the principles and basis of what the book is telling you, but don't know how to write it or don't know how to communicate it back. That's where I was for the longest time. It's like, well, why don't you just connect with other programmers? I could. It's a great question. I think some of the programmers that I have, I don't think there's a programmer within 25 miles of me. I live in that type of place. I live in Waco, Texas. So I could go to the school at the same time. That's a really good question. I've had many thoughts, but I didn't really think about that because I didn't verbalize it as though I was talking with another person, which is an important aspect that I need to do personally. So, just scrolling through these, it's not what's in the document. I should not be caring about what's in the document right now. Again, license.md. This is information, specifically, and the MIT license. Huh, I didn't know MIT did it. Massachusetts Institute of Technology, I think. Customer, credential, management, all this information. How does a program use this information? Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I think I know. I'm probably going to take about a 5 to 10 minute break just to do something different, because I've been using this in Python, different file folder, different text documents it's just been such a long time since I've done it in this form and fashion. I need more practice. So I'm going to pause it and I'm going to come right back. Hey, it's been 50 minutes on the dot. That is awesome. That's good. 15 minutes on, 10 minutes off, taking a break, and then doing this, I think, in three iterations. I think will be very important. I'll be right back. Okay. So I think what would help for me, about 10-15, that was a 10-15 minute break. What would help for me is if I learn how to use GitHub, not of just, because I used to use GitHub as just looking at some documentation pretty much like this and just copying it from top to bottom, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of lines of code. I would just type. I would type it verbatim. Now, again, I understood a lot of what was going on. It's been a while, but it didn't really teach me how to think about what was going on. It taught me how to be familiar with what's going on in an intuitive sense, but to actually problem solve is the most important part when it comes to programming. Something I am learning more and more and more of. Again, string content equals JSON encode customer. I would have an intuitive sense about that, but I didn't understand what it meant at all, which is kind of contradictory to what I meant, to what I said earlier. This is, again, a better answer. I think a really good, where is it? Notes, yeah. I like Atom a lot better than Brackets. Brackets has its good points, but I'm a fan of Atom now. A goal that I have with GitHub, goal for GitHub, learn how to use GitHub how to specifically use it. I'm both tired and dealing with some other things I have to get to today, but this is the time to learn to program. So I will take the time to learn a program, and I can do everything else I need to do for the rest of the day. So learn how to use GitHub. Learn how to run a program on GitHub. I think that's probably the number one thing I had an issue with. How is it a program? All the documentation that is available on a GitHub site, a repository, the primary documentation, I would understand each individual one, but I'd never understand how each in synchronicity. I don't know if that's the word. So let's do that right now. Let's go to github.com, and then let us jump to Python. I'm more familiar with that one. Algorithms, Geek Computers, show me the code. Let's look for a program that actually looks pretty legit. Oh, Snake. The Snake game. Okay. None of it. I even ran the Snake game. I just don't remember where I put it. Let's go with Python, the very first one. Artificial Intelligence Snake game. Oh. Okay. Wow. Okay, so my goal for the rest of this time that I have today, to specifically focus on programming, and specifically with Python, I want to learn how to run GitHub, the program any program I find on GitHub. learn how to run any code program I find on GitHub on my own computer. I want to be able to use it. I want to be able to interact with it. That's one thing I haven't done with a program in such a long time. Again, I've been exposed to a lot, but just because I've been exposed to it a lot doesn't mean I actually know how to actually use it. Just because you know just because you've just because you've learned how to ride a bike doesn't mean you know how to ride a bike. I've gotten in trouble for riding my bike too efficiently and dangerously when I was in the military. I got a talking to, and I was being dumb and stupid, but I didn't learn how to read to do it. I actually just went out and did it, which is one thing I don't understand with programming. Of like, how can you just go out there and do it? How does it make sense? And some people get it intuitively, some people don't. I'm in the latter, but I'm learning how to become more intuitive by simply asking certain questions aloud, which is allowing me to think so much better, not just to myself, but to another person. Oh, that's changing how I'm thinking dramatically in a great way. So the program that I'm looking at right now is, however you pronounce Chu Yang Liu. I don't know if it's his actual name. Chu Yang Liu. But the documentation that he has, there's one branch, 4 contributors, 225 commits. Fixed links. Okay, I don't really need to see that at the moment. But my question is, how can I run this? How do I take documentation that I have access to and can look at every single one of them? How do I run the information? Run.py. That's easy. Import arg parse. I don't know, docs. Images, algorithms, stake. Again, I understand each one individually. I don't understand how they all come together. How do they all come together? How do you do that? So, how do you use all the documents, or how do you use all the documents or the necessary ones to run the program on any GitHub channel or site? Ooh, that was spelled incorrectly. So, I will now need to learn by going to YouTube and looking for that very specific question. Huh. That's weird. Okay. Huh. Okay, that's weird. We're gonna go with GitHub. How to run a program from GitHub. That's literally what the suggestion was. Okay, that's actually what I just typed in. Downloading the... Okay. Oh, okay. I think the reason why I forgot that is because I have different context of the words I just put on it. So I asked the exact same question, but the context dramatically changed because there's different pathways to it, which is one of the reasons I may have forgotten about it. There's a different context, so I don't have the same access to it because I was not thinking in the same linear direction or same lines, curved or not. So how to clone a GitHub repository for beginners. I don't want to learn how to use it. I don't want how to do repositories. I don't want to learn how to edit it. I want to learn how to use it. Any GitHub, so how to get started with GitHub, tutorial. Import GitHub Java project, creating .exe from GitHub sources, GitHub basics, how to use GitHub, how to import GitHub project into PyCharm. That might work. Learn GitHub in 20 minutes. Oh, there's so much here. Okay. What is Git? GitHub. So Git tutorial for beginners. Command line fundamentals. Running an SQL injection attack. Oh, a computer file. Okay. So I'm simply going to... It says GitHub, you import it, use Python, the Python IDE for professional developers. So I'm just quickly go through it. This is what I don't necessarily get or understand. Here is a file to use. Would you like to open the directory? Okay. GitHub tutorial. Okay, let's go with this one. Just scrolling through it in Linux, Mac, Windows, installing Git. The program itself. What does it mean? How do I? So I have all the information available right here. All this information on the left-hand side shows all the data I have available for the program. How do I run it specifically? It's, again, such a simple question. Even if it takes, again, more time than it may with another person, I need to figure out how. Just saying, well, I don't know, so I might as well move on. Well, because I don't know, I might as well just forfeit. No, I gotta know. So let's just go to something, I would say a simpler one, but any documentation is simple. Truly. So I'm going to go clone. I'm going to open this one, because this one should be a lot easier. Because I have no idea what commerceapi.net is actually supposed to be doing, but with the snake document, I'm going to download it. Open GitHub desktop. Wait, do I want to do that, or do I want to just download? Download zip. See again, a different direction. Because I don't know how to run any program from GitHub. But if I have the zip, yes, unzip the files and downloads, what's going on behind the scenes, and then I'll show you some other information of what's going on for me. Okay, so now I have access to all of it. I'm going to go to open folder. No, not open folder. I'm going to go to File Explorer. I'm then going to go to my Downloads section. I'm then going to go to... Did it just unload all of it? If it did, that's nuts. What was the name of it? Snake Master? I'd like to think that is correct, but that's a weird text document. That is... okay. Yeah, that is weird. Okay. Tools. PyCharm. So I'm going to go ahead and open Anaconda, which is a multi-purposed Python hub of available packages Python you can use with Python specifically. Anaconda Navigator. We're specifically going to click on which one? I need to download it, so I'm going to go to environments. Understand this correctly. Yeah. Installed, not installed. PyCharm. We're going to use base root. Install. Is it installed? Huh. All. How do you... Okay, I might actually have to... Huh. Okay, I won't do that. I'll use Spider instead. Yeah, so I'll use Spider. At the moment, I don't know where it is. How to download PyCharm to Anaconda, or if Anaconda has an available PyCharm extension. And just a good question to ask. Please use your package manager to update Spider to go to. Okay, whatever. It's supposed to update the program. Okay, so I'm going to. Wow. It's the simple things that have been getting me lately. Again, I can really. I keep saying that I think that I know I understand Python, I know I understand coding, I know I understand how to program. Apparently I don't. Whoa. That's a weird sound. Oh, that's probably why. Yeah. No, that's not. That's a concern of mine. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, with Spider, again, the settings that I have for Spider, I need to grab the data that I have available from Atom, and I need to transfer it over to this. So with my zipped files, Snake Master, I am going to drag and drop onto it. I don't know. So let's go ahead and just drag and drop. I'm going to grab documents. Oh. That's interesting. And all the thought process that goes inside behind a program is phenomenal. Build longest. Gotcha. So from A to B, different pathways to B. Did he have to program each one individually, or did he have to find a way to make certain each one is accessible when creating an AI? Or is it just a theoretical one when he created his AI algorithm? Just a question. Okay. So, 0, 1, 2. Oh! Okay, so you have to get from 2 to 0. My assumption is to get from 2 to 0, but you cannot use 1. So you have to use every other path to get there. And eventually, once you do, once you go from the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, once you get to the ninth, you have covered all available possibilities, all options to get to it, or close to it, or the closest, to it. Then the only other option you have next is to get 1. So from 2 to 0, but you can't go through 1. Once you go through all possibilities or closest possibilities to get to from 2 to 0, then the only other option after that is to go through the number 1. Wow. Using a lot of thought process here. It's like, there's a lot of thought process? You must be dumb. Giving myself a hard time here. So this is the thought process that I've tried so many times. You know, how many times? 2? I don't know. I've probably tried double digits at least in how to actually do this. Specifically, how do you formulate this? I don't understand this. I understand lines of code because I can go line by line. I may not understand how from a line to line by line versus line, understanding why that's connecting to the another line. Why when you put this here, this is why the code does this a particular form, an activity. What does that mean? When it comes to theoretical stuff, or at least the principle in this, something that I want to learn more of, how does this work? What is Q evaluation, Q target, loss? Okay, that's evolving the AI. So the weights involved in the AI that's influencing each neural connection. When you train it, the target is what the evaluation net, target net. I don't know what that is. Train, replace, save, initialize. Okay, so I do understand a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What? Oh, this one looks so beautiful, but so complicated at the same time. But so simple. I mean, it's really simple when you like just take a first glance at it. Just really, you have it's simple because you have all the information available. Even though it's complicated at the very initially, you get to see all the information. So, no, that's not it. Let's go to that one. Okay, global, absolute, relative. What is the difference of what learning step, i.e. 4, average snake length, average snake step. Okay. Very simple grid. Oh, okay. That's a lot. So with Python, how do I run the program that is mentioned down here? How do I run that? Okay. Oh, that's smart. Okay, I didn't really notice this before, but the Hamilton solver demo average length and average steps. Hamilton, greedy, DQN. I think the greedy one actually, each step it takes tries to maximize each activity it does while it's going through, while Hamilton is trying to find the quickest way to the food. The DQN, I believe, might be a bit more random and just going directly to it rather than trying to... The DQN may be trying to go towards it directly. The greedy one might be trying to maximize the speed, on the opposite spectrum, trying to go the longest route around to get to the food, to maximize the space it has available, and the Hamilton might be the mixture of the two, which you might find to be the best. Average length. You might have, I don't know, that's just kind of an assumption, or you can even go with a conceptualization. That's a good concept. That's a great concept of how to create a model AI or a model program. So, whoa. Run unit tests. Oh my gosh, what is this meaning? Oh my gosh. I kind of hit like a wall. Oh, so I'm just gonna kind of hang out for a bit, but kind of think about it at the same time. Maybe I have to move on to a different topic for me to get like energized, but maybe, oh man, I have so hit a wall right now, and I could even do that. That's a great place to end off. What did I achieve? Most people could probably say not much, but I did achieve a lot within an hour and a half. A great question to ask is, what if I continue doing it for an hour and a half? My goal is to do it up to 3 hours. 3 hours at the end, be done, learn, write down what my goals were, write the goals that I want to achieve next time, where am I going, am I doing the right thing? So let's do that right now. Because I started with trying to figure out how GitHub works. And then I led to probably the most important, crucial key in this entire part. I didn't write any code. I didn't necessarily look at any code. I saw code, but I wasn't here to read code. The most important part that I found as a distinction is I needed to learn how to use the GitHub programs, how to actually apply them, because once I am able to do that, instead of just trying to learn how to code, learn how to program, that using one program that already is in existence, already is available to me, everybody, how to run that on my own system, my own computer, so I can have the function, I can use it as well. Because if I can't use a program that is available to me, just as if there's no comments in a program, if there's no comments in code, and I don't understand what's going on, the code is rather useless. Because if nobody understands what's going on, if you have to go back and try to uh, reverse engineer what's going on, so you and writing down notes of what may be happening, if you don't know what's happening in the code, what's the point? If I don't know how to use the program, use the resources available to me, which again, who taught me? I need to be self-taught if nobody's going to teach me. I need to be able to use GitHub. Again, 12-year-olds are going to be able to learn this, and they are learning how to use GitHub more than me, which is a very good thing. They should. I feel like I've been left behind in a lot of technological advancements, or even more practicality when it comes to how to use things. But I'm very grateful that I'm at this point of taking charge of my learning, rather than just wanting to do it, doing random activities. I need to be more specific about what it is that I want. Vocalizing, verbalizing my needs are incredibly important to me. Not ignoring my needs, not trying to justify or use logic to make moral or immoral implications. It's how I feel, what I am going to be doing with that. How can I give and grow, etc. So, the main question to go back with is main takeaway. Okay. So my main takeaway is, how do I use the resources available to me on GitHub, actually using the programs that are already made. Not in theory, not to look at, but to actually use and edit at my own discretion. Because if I am not able to use or edit, or even, again, I can make a repository. It's where my thought process is. If I can make a repository and change documentation, I don't want to just change documentation. I don't want to change what I may think is correct. I want to be able to use it and test it, and then I can learn how to make repositories. I don't need to learn how to edit things on GitHub. I need to know how to actually use the available tools that are already in use, that already work. If there is a business model that is working, there's no need for me to start changing what it is, how people look at it, what the words are about it, what the plan is, where the lines are drawn, until I'm actually using it in application, and then I can say what works and what doesn't for myself. Then I can use it as a repository. I need to be able to use that. That's a great, phenomenal distinction. I think that's this great distinction anybody can use. It's like you need to first be able to use it, then you can start having a say. Again, for all you children out there, for all you children who think you're not children, you're a teenager, you're a child until you want to start taking responsibility. Once you start taking responsibility, you are an adult. And you can't do like, well, I'm a teenager, if I make a mistake. No, if you want to claim responsibility, you're an adult. If the moment that trouble happens and you say it's my fault, you are an adult. Some adults don't even do that. But they're considered adults because of their age, not because of their activity or their maturity level. So, yeah, we'll go with that. That's a phenomenal end. If I was not able to express what I just expressed, I would have normally just kept it inside and felt like I achieved nothing. And if you go at it alone, it sucks. You have to have people with you, but you more importantly have to make certain that the people that you are with are on the right track as well. I am learning that I can learn so much more by verbalizing what I'm thinking. and then extend it to other areas. That's phenomenal. Okay, so I have other things that I need to do today. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Timothy Miller. Please post your comments, questions, concerns right down below. My eventual goal is that I will have a live stream happening. I will get better at this, I swear. Hopefully, that is the intent. That is the goal, at least. Being able to test it live and just for a 3-hour hangout where people come in, make some comments, make some chats, whatever. But to have a hangout where I'm learning how to do something specifically, trying to explain it to other people, so it's at least entertaining, if not educational. I love it to be an educational place. There's people who are so much better than me. Daniel Schiffman, Siraj Ravel. There's 3 or 4 people that I know what their YouTube channel is. I just don't know what their specific name is. But there's so many more people that are better than me. I am such a novice. I am such a beginner, but I think I am on the right path. Again, I think everybody's going to be better than me. I just want to be able to do what it is that I do best. Being able to explain something, being able to articulate it, and then use it in application. Not just preach how good and glorious this idea is. In application, how good is it? How effective is it? How efficient? How moral? How immoral? Or good or bad or whatever? That's what I need to do more of. That's what I need to be known to do more of. So again, thank you for your time. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. More importantly, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Boop.